Well, our next guests were ripping off the Smurfs a good 20 years before James Cameron created Avatar.
They may be our most famous guest you're not going to recognize. 3 members of the Blue Man Group. Come on out, guys.
Yay.
Meet Kirk Massey, Kaylin Almendinger, and Brian Tavener.
Hey, guys.
3 of the Blue Man Group.
Thank you all for being here with us today.
Come on over.
Good to see ya. Hey, Brian.
Hey, good to see you.
Plenty of room.
Plenty of room. We can go ahead and have a seat here.
Together here.
This looks good.
Now, I know people are wondering, okay, they're the Blue Man Group, but they're not in blue. But we had to have you come not in character because the Blue Man don't talk, right? So how would we interview you if you were...
Very quietly.
Question.
But at the same time, you're very expressive on stage. I mean, last night Facebook was exploding with commentary about the show, and I've never gone, and people have said, this is a show you have to see.
Awesome.
Yeah, you really do have to be there and experience it to get the feel for it. You can see clips on YouTube and we have DVDs and everything, but it's really not the same as being there. It's based on that experience. I mean, that's the goal of the character, to have a connection with the audience, and so it's best seen from seen live.
And that's the thing, is the reviews are so spectacular is how it's described, and so many wonderful adjectives, and they talk about how when you leave the show you're just in this euphoric state is how it describes it. So what is it about this show that you think reaches out and touches people with such power?
It's I think it's a show that finds the common element in everybody, and what that is kind of us all coming from a childlike state. At some point we were a kid, and at also some point we kind of forgot about it a little bit along the way, and the show reaches back to that and kind of pulls that out of you, and it's a little subconscious too. You even can sometimes see people resisting that pull towards the childlike state, but I think that's when our job is even more enjoyable, because then we take it upon ourselves to just put that much more focus into really getting those people there by the end of the show.
Okay, now, Brian, you have quite a head of hair, and Kaylin and Kirk.
You all have
this guy's got quite a
When you walked in, people, I mean, the first thing that people had said was, I thought they would look more like Terry Miners. And that you just paint your heads, but I mean, that's a real process. What's the process that you go through, and why blue? Why not green or something?
Well, why blue is something that gets discussed a lot. One thing that we usually say is just, why not blue? Blue works. If we were a different color, a lot of other colors carry like some sort of connotation to it. Like if we were green, then it's like, oh, well, there's aliens. Or if we're red, that could be like some sort of like evil, demonic type thing. Where blue is sort of just like a neutral color. And the process is actually, the actual process of getting blue isn't as intensive as just like sort of the process of what we just described as getting ready. Like we like to meet like an hour before the show. We get together and we start hanging out with each other and vibing with each other, just figuring out what each other's mood is that day and just sort of that sort of thing. And then the actual process is just we put on like a vinyl bald cap that gets rid of the hair and the ears, and then it's just the theatrical grease paint.
And sorry, Laura.
Oh no, that paint, it just seems like it would rub off everywhere. Is that what you were thinking? That's what I think when I see
it. It does rub off everywhere. Like it actually never ever dries. If you were to touch something 30 years from now, it would still come off again.
We don't wear white to work.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. How long does it take to de-blue man yourself?
About 20 minutes or so.
You're down to the sun.
Depends on how thorough you want to be, I suppose.
Now, what about, though, other theatrical involvements? Who has done more? I mean, is this your first foray, or is this something that you've trained for all your lives?
Well, we all come from different backgrounds, different disciplines. I think Brian was mostly involved in music before this. As far as performance, we have people that were scientists before this, lawyers. So really all walks of life. I have played drums my whole life, and I studied acting in college, and I was involved in different theater shows in Chicago before, and these guys have their own stories, I'm sure.
Most similar.
And that music, you mentioned the music background, because that's a huge part of the show. We saw the drums and the percussion, and those PVC pipes, the tubes. How do you learn how to play something like that?
The most exciting part about training for the show, it was for me, because I really love just non-traditional instruments and trying to find different ways of making sound. Sound is the tribal element, everyone can kind of relate to sound of any sort. So banging on pots and pans and ripping paper is a cool sound. Anything that kind of expresses sound. And PVCs are just this everyday item that the original guys decided would make music. They can make music out of it, and they've made these elaborate PVC instruments and organized them beautifully and with note structures. And so the three of us kind of play those instruments as an ensemble with a 4-person band behind us. So it's a pretty rockin' show.
It is. Well, since you don't talk, those visuals, and it is a high sensory experience. That's how it's described. And so the colors and the sound, and that's how you communicate what you're doing. That the entire show is all of that, because there's no dialogue.
Exactly. That is the dialogue, the music, the paint. That is completely. Yeah, that's the Blue Man's way of trying to communicate or connect or express to people around them.
It's also a tech-heavy show. There's a lot of technology, as you can see on some of this B-roll. There's a big video element, and almost every surface of our stage is actually an LED wall, so it can all come to life and project any image, and we go in and out of it. You saw us just now. You saw that shot where we go up and then the head is magnified, and so there's a lot of that where the video screen kind of takes on a life of its own as well, and it's just a crazy time.
Well, I just have to ask, how many total Blue Men are there running around?
Oh, well, we have 4 here on the tour. We travel 4, so one guy gets the night off. And then we have about 8 productions running right now, and each show has anywhere from like 4 to 6 or 7 guys on the cast. So.
Yeah, it's all over the country. It's wildly popular, and it's great to meet some of the guys under all that blue paint. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Great to have you here in Louisville. And the Blue Man Group is performing at the Kentucky Center through Sunday.
For tickets, call 584-7777. We'll be right back with more Great Day Live.